Hello, I'm back. My name is KarQ. I was actually in China for the past week doing a little Wu Yang promotion in Chengdu, China, because that's where his story was written in the Overwatch community in China, and NetEase and Blizzard did a whole marketing promo and invited me out. So I had a good time there, but I'm back with some Overwatch hot takes. So enough about me. Let's see what you guys have to say this week. First one, been sitting on this take for a while and I need to get it out. As a GM tank player since Overwatch 1, I would never want to go back to 6v6. First of all, having one more player on your team is just another variable that is out of your control. Agreed. Another potential carry, true, or another potential thrower. In 5v5, it's just you. In 5v5, it's 5 people on your team, not just you. Come on now. You have the entire burden of controlling the space for your team, and that's great. Sorry, I was feeling a little facetious here. I feel like the protagonists of my team and tanks in 5v5 are way stronger anyways. I don't understand the mentality of wanting to nerf the characters you play just so someone else on your team can also play those heroes. Honestly, for the idea that a lot of people are very pro 6v6, especially on social media and in comment sections, your take is actually on the more lukewarm side because you enjoy 5v5 and you enjoy being that strong tank presence. I would actually say that the common social media opinion is that they prefer 6v6 because it was the loudest voice, but the more common reality is that most 5v5 tank players don't mind and enjoy it. I actually started playing tank in Overwatch 2 specifically. I hated it in Overwatch 1, but I actually enjoy the same tank for the same reasons you mentioned in Overwatch 2, because I like to be that driving force, that anchor, that decision maker. I dictate the pace of the game because I am the only tank. Now, the reason why it gets a lot of criticism on social media, because social media people, again, prefer 6v6, is because when you suck or shit's hitting the wall, people often blame you. But I've been pretty immune to criticism my whole life because I don't know, I kind of just don't value other people's opinions that don't matter to me. You're just somebody random in my video game, right? And that's how people should approach it, with that mindset. It's yeah, my bad, I played a bad game. I just move on. For every shit game I played being the solo tank, it can suck when all this stuff is launched at you. There's gonna be those highs of the high moments where I'm that solo tank and ripping the craziest Junker Queen 5-man ultimate right there and winning it for my team. That's the adrenaline rush I love because it's all me there. So yeah, I don't know. Good take. Next hot take is Orisa is not a boring hero to play. People just hold on to the hatred they had for her from the past. True. Honestly, the rework in Overwatch 2 genuinely made Orisa way more fun than her playstyle in Overwatch 1. But that being said, the new perks that Orisa has now, where she gets the shield back, it kind of brings her back to the old style of just sitting behind the shield and shooting. That's what I've seen in my recent games. If you guys have played against Orisa this season so far, the past couple of days, a lot of Orisas are taking the shield perk. However, she doesn't have that obnoxious pull and instead has that skill shot of landing the spear, which makes her way more fun in my opinion. And I would agree, the fact that her gun is actually way faster compared to the Overwatch 1 counterpart, where she used to shoot little green pellets. Now she shoots big circles, along with hitting those satisfying spheres and pulling people in with her ultimate. She's genuinely way more fun, objectively, in my opinion, and for the most part, subjectively for most people if they were willing to admit it. Next hot take is Stadium would be more fun and accessible if they removed all the upgrades that just move numbers around. Presenting players with 50 plus choices spread over 4 pages with descriptions that don't make sense if you don't know the name of the abilities makes it unnecessarily complicated. All the boring upgrades are just noise and what could be a really fun mechanic if every upgrade does something visually while playing. Also makes it less of a mystery as to what the enemy has going on. So you mean simplifying your buying choices? I don't know about this. I think Stadium is a little bit a little bit daunting. This is like going to the Cheesecake Factory and looking at 6 pages of the menu. This is what Stadium feels like for the first time, but if you dine enough at Cheesecake Factory, you kind of know what you like and you kind of have an idea of what to build and what to buy and what to eat, if you know what I mean. Now, that being said, all the boring upgrades are just noise and what could be a fun mechanic. I would disagree. Some of these upgrades that some of the items do genuinely do change the hero and how they work. Them doing something visually while playing depends on the item, of course. Obviously, if you see a Reinhardt charging and flying in the sky, he specifically bought that item and you know he did if you dined at Cheesecake Factory enough. But if it's just another visual indicator on the hero, I don't know, could add a little bit more of the visual clutter. I think the onus is on the player to hit tab or hit whatever pulls up the menu and actually scan and analyze what the enemy team is building. This is what you do in League of Legends. This is what I do in Deadlock. I actually take a look at what the enemy heroes are playing. If you want to play Stadium casually, you never have to do it. Who cares? But if you're a competitive player and you want to be a bit more competitive in this casual competitive mode, you should be hitting tab and reading what the description of the items the enemy team is building and whatnot, right? It will make it less of a mystery to see what's going on if you actually take the time to look, if you can. But yeah, I don't know about this take being more fun and accessible if they removed all the upgrades. Maybe more accessible because there's less paradox of choice, but more fun is a bit subjective. I enjoy Stadium for the complexity that it has at this current state. And it honestly isn't even that bad once you get used to all the common items. So yeah. Hot take, give more power to the sillier builds in Stadium. The most fun that I think is running insane builds like Soldier with his field doing damage and following him, or Cassidy having a ton of ammo while only fanning, but the problem is that they fall off in later rounds. I'm sure there can be a happy medium where we can have them work without being overpowered. I agree. I actually sat on the idea that I was going to do like a best build for every hero for Stadium, but like genuinely that's a bit subjective, and I think a better video idea is like stupid, silly builds for every hero, especially now that we have the quick play version of Stadium out. But obviously, I think it's less about making sillier builds better, but more about trying to bring the power level up of like different kinds of powers and seeing how they work to actually have multiple viable builds. Because it does suck when it's like one strict meta build that just dominates, you know, when you play, and that's like the only build to go to if you want to win competitive. Like it would be nice if there were 2 or 3 options or build paths that are pretty competitively viable. And whether that's fun or silly, that's subjective. Hot take, I would like to know what defines a hero as not fun. Because to me, if you are not enjoying playing against a hero, there's someone on the other side probably enjoying that hero. So how is it possible for them to just be deemed not fun? I think mentality needs to shift from whenever I lose to that hero that they aren't fun. I mean, is this a take? This just seems like your genuine curiosity. What defines a hero as not fun is a hero that probably inhibits your ability to play in your specific role from your perspective. You're right, somebody on the other side, from their perspective, could be having fun playing that here. There could be some demons that absolutely enjoy playing Mauga, but playing against a Mauga can be very annoying for if you're a tank player and you play a certain tank and you see a Mauga. That's what defines not fun. It's from your perspective and what inhibits your ability to play your character effectively. There's a hero that seems to shut you down nonstop, can be not fun. That's why a lot of people hate playing Sombra. A lot of support players hate playing against Sombra. That's why I hate playing against Tracer, or a tank player hates playing against Mauga. Unless you're a Chinese player, because you know what's a fun fact from my trip in China that I learned? That the Chinese community loves Mauga. Well, they have a meme for Mauga. You know when Mauga cages somebody and he says in Samoan, I'm gonna butcher this, the Sasei Vogiki, right? The Chinese community, they all type SSVGG everywhere. When I was in China, they just meme it everywhere because apparently the Chinese voice VA who did Mauga, he says it in a very funny way. He says the same line, but he has a Chinese accent, right? Because I don't know where he's from, but like the community loves it. They just type SSVGG. Just wanted to throw that fact out there. Hot take, I actually really hate map voting. Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm bitter that my map didn't get picked, but I've been playing the same game modes. I'm pretty sure I can predict the stats that are going to come out. Hybrid and escort maps are the most popular and will have the highest pick rates. While some of my favorite maps are hybrid, I'm so sick of playing on these 2 game modes. Rarely do people pick push. No one picks flashpoint, and if control is paired with hybrid or escort, it will not win. Why do people want to play a potentially 20-minute match every game? The other game modes are not capable of lasting as long as a hybrid or escort can. I'm tired of those goddamn modes. Pick another game mode, OMG. I understand your frustration, but I'm not gonna lie, I played like 50 games this season already for the past 4 days. I've been enjoying Overwatch Season 18 a lot. And I've noticed there's a smart algorithm. I think this was also confirmed at some point by Gavin. Oh, don't quote me on that if it was confirmed or not. There's kind of like a smart algorithm where the third map of every map voting choice is kind of technically random. It's not hidden random. I think I made it in a suggestions box before where I want it to be completely question mark, where I don't even see the map type or the map mode. But apparently the third one is a random one, but like it does its best to kind of pick a smart random for the other choices where it's maybe a map that you haven't played, or collectively amongst the entire player pool of those 10 players in the lobby, it'll pick one that has the lowest frequency, which is pretty easy to code in the back end. Like if you know, just look at your map history and just pick a couple of them that haven't been picked in a while. And if you truly haven't seen those modes in a while, then eventually they will show up. And in fact, when I say I played 50 games, I saw that I hadn't played Flashpoint in like 10 games, and then I got presented 3 Flashpoint choices in my map voting. We had no choice but to play Flashpoint. We literally got Atlas, Suravasa, and New Junk City as our choice. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're forced to play that. So I do understand where, like, if you do see hybrid or some of these, you know, favorite game modes, you can see what people pick. But I do think with enough time, if you haven't played a certain map or, you know, a game mode in a while, it will come up and it will limit the other choices. You will literally have 2 out of 3 of a game mode that you haven't played in a while. Don't quote me on that, but that's how I felt felt anecdotally. All right. Hot take, Freya is the most annoying hero to play against. What's your take? My take is Tracer. I don't think she's broken, and I don't think she's as overtuned as everyone says. For me, it's just how oppressive she can feel. The constant high burst damage and both her abilities, if you pick the updraft perk, enabling said burst damage makes her feel so helpless to play against. If every explosive arrow didn't do a third of most heroes' health, it would be so frustrating seeing 3 arrows stuck in your screen in a nanosecond. I'd love to hear your take on this. I can definitely be quite annoyed at dealing with Freya, but she, for me, doesn't feel as annoying to deal with compared to Tracer. And again, my perspective will be different from yours and from everybody else's. So from you, you hate Freya. From me, I just genuinely dislike playing against Tracer. Now that the hero stats are public on the website, you can see Tracer is an overperformer at almost all ranks. So gone are the days where we can say her skill ceiling is so high, so she underperforms below plat. But she's actually doing pretty well in all cases. That being said, I understand Freya's frustration because like there's a lot of times where like she's out of effective range for a lot of heroes to snipe or deal with her to make sure she doesn't have that sort of presence where she can just shoot you across the map and chunk you down, right? That's why I like heroes like Ana to help like pressure her back, because when she's floating in the air, she is a little bit of a sitting duck where I can shoot her back in a moment. And because I'm an Ana main, I haven't, you know, minded her as much, but as an Ana main, dealing with a Tracer has been a nightmare. Like hitting asleep on a Tracer is like a 2 in 10 or 1 in 5 chance. Feels pretty hard to skill matchup, and most Tracers at my elo are pretty good, I won't lie. So yeah, hot take, people taking Stadium seriously as a comp mode makes Stadium the least fun mode to play. Luckily there's quick play now and the powers are accelerated and it's 5 rounds. Here we go. Not a very hot take, but please make Wu Yang a main support archetype. We need another main support. Like a long time ago, Brawly, rewarded for taking safe pressure and can defend another support. Every Kiri, Juno, Mercy is happy and I get to think about more things than Brig or Lucio. I feel like Wu Yang's a little bit of a hybrid. He's definitely not like, when you say main support, you don't mean like a main healer, because main healer is what people would often say like Moira or Ana or Baptista, where they just have raw healing output. You're talking about a main support archetype in a competitive team setting, where the main support is the one shot calling and scanning the battlefield and ult tracking, like a Lucio or Brig. And honestly, Wu Yang kind of fits that niche, to be honest with you. Like he's a little bit busy scanning and helping the team, but like, you know, turning around, you know how Brig turns around in health packs and like peels for their backline? You can kind of do that with Wu Yang. You turn around, give them that orb, you can hit them with the Guardian Wave and knock back some of the enemies and burst heal your teammates as needed, pressure them, and then you have your own escape tool. I actually think he kind of fits that style, but a little bit of a hybrid. You could totally play Wu Yang with any of those quote-unquote main healers, like Wu Yang, Kiri, Wu Yang, Juno, etc., etc. What I found most interesting in my games, anecdotally, is I enjoyed Wu Yang with Brig the most. Not so much with Lucio, but in the OWCS recently, they were playing Lucio Wu Yang, the Lu Yang comp, because people are very coordinated. They are brawl diving very hard with Lu Yang and Hazard in some of these comps because it goes fast. Wu Yang doesn't obviously have to run up with the brawl because if he's too close, he doesn't get the charged water orbs, but he plays at a medium safe distance and you can use the Guardian Wave to hard engage. You got decent mid pressure because the orbs will be pretty strong past, what was it, like 8 meters? Or is it 10 meters before they like become super strong and they charge up? So like you don't have to play in their face like Lucio, but like even just like a little bit back and you're already brawling and you're kind of poking and being kind of a nuisance. But yeah, that's just food for thought. Anyways, that's it for the hot takes this week. Leave some more, especially recent hot takes, hopefully about Wu Yang and hopefully about the perks in the new season that you felt so far, a Stadium, etc., etc. Keep it relevant here from your experiences this past week, preferably. Anyways, take care. Bye-bye.